Welcome back to NAS Tries. Today we're trying Kerbal Space Program. Now I've played this game for about 10 hours real time now, and I'd say it's quite good. It's not really that exciting, but you do get quite into it, so let's start. I've already got 5 missions in progress, but we'll start a new one today. Now, where you build your spaceships or satellites, whatever you're building, is here in the space hangar. Vehicle assembly building, sorry. First of all, you need a cockpit, which is one of these, but I think we'll make a satellite. So let's choose this one. Oops, just one. Now if you double click it and then drag to the top, scroll to the top rather, you can bring it right here so you have more space to build. The first thing you want is this thing. It's an advanced SAS unit. Oh, that's quite big actually. Oh, fuck it. What this does is, once you choose a direction, it forces your ship to stay in that direction, I guess is the best way to say it. The next thing we'll need is to be able to control where the ship is pointing. For this you need this RCS fuel, and we'll get maybe 3 of these. Oh, actually 2 should be fine. And these RCS thrusters, sorry. And these RCS thrusters. If you press this button, the symmetry mode, now see, we have 2 of them. If we click it again, we have 3 of them. I think 3 is fine. We'll put them here actually. Right, utilities. Anything from here? No, I think that's fine. How about if you have one of these? Just one. And actually maybe some solar panels, get 2 of those. And some battery packs. So the solar panels will recharge these batteries. 3 maybe? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, this thing is called a decoupler. Oh, not that big one. There's a small one as well. Right, and what this will do is, see it popped up here. So when I press spacebar, this will happen. Now this means that it will break off the top from the bottom. So if I'm thrusting this in the air with an engine and I run out of fuel, I'll just press spacebar and the engine will detach, or the fuel tank will detach from this top of the rocket. That's exactly what we want. Now if you go into propulsion, we'll get one of these fuel tanks, and we'll have an atomic engine. These are really efficient engines. Right, now if you go into structure, see that popped up here as well. So now if I press spacebar once, this engine will go off. When it finishes, I can press spacebar again, and it will the engine and the fuel tank will break off from the satellite. Now in structure, if we get these things, these decouplers, we'll get 6 of them. Put them right here. Okay, like I said, this bit is fine for when we're in space, but we need to get into space, which means we need a lot of fuel and a lot of engines, a lot of thrust. Okay, these big ones, they're pretty good. They have a lot of fuel in them. So there's loads of different engines. You should really just experiment with them. But basically these ones, the main cells, are the most powerful, but they run out of fuel the fastest. They use the most fuel, sorry. So they're the least inefficient as well as being the most powerful. These ones are a bit less powerful, but they're a bit more efficient. And then these ones, the atomic engines, they're extremely efficient. But you really want to use these once you're in space because they're not that powerful. So I think first of all, if we get these skipper engines, which are mid-power, that should be fine. But if we go into structure and get these struts, this is just for structure, so it doesn't fall apart. Just get a few of those. That should be fine. So this will be our mid stage. If we put these are the decouplers we added. If we put them together with the atomic engine, that should be good. And I think if we add one more stage, so under structure, get more decouplers, maybe a bit higher, that should be good. Now if we add some more fuel tanks, these big ones, and so we'll get these mainsail engines. They're the most powerful, remember. So in this mode, if you press shift and then scroll out, you can scroll out. So again, we want to make these a bit more stable, so we'll add struts. Maybe one more. That's probably good. Anything else? Oh, okay. If we go into aerodynamics, we want these columns, so it's a bit more aerodynamic, there's less drag. And also, if you get winglets, it doesn't matter, I don't think it matters which ones you have, but if you just get any winglets and put them on here, oh, I forgot an SAS, okay, I'll add that, don't worry. So these can control where our spacecraft is pointing. Now one thing I forgot to add, which I'll add in here, if we go into control and add this thing, an SAS, I added an SAS already, didn't I? For fuck's sake. I swear I'm autistic sometimes, okay. Let's delete that. Yeah, that should be fine, actually. What I could do is... yeah, I think that will actually... these things, they hold your spacecraft up before you launch it. I don't know if that will hold together, so yeah, I'll put that in. I'm just gonna add a few more struts just to be safe. Better safe than sorry. Come on. That should be good. Now we have to name it. We'll call this the NASCO Sat Ballsack Mark 1. No, 1000. If this fails, we'll make the 2000. Yeah, I think that's good. Just check these again. We want these to let go at the same time as these engines fire. And then we want these engines to go at the same time as these engines fire. And then the middle one I've done already, the end one, sorry. That should be good. Let's launch. Okay, it had to be nighttime, didn't it? Now it takes a second for the gravity to set in. So let's wait for that. Is it here yet? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so if you press T, it turns the SAS on, and see it's trying to adjust itself. Okay, so you see this thing as your throttle. So if you press left shift, it will throttle up, and control will throttle down, which is really annoying because sticky keys keep coming up. But if we just throttle up, we don't want these to overheat, so we want throttle up all the way. Now if you press spacebar, this first thing will happen, And if you press spacebar again, the second thing will happen. So if I press spacebar now, these things will detach, so it will stop holding the spacecraft, and the engines will fire, the mainsail engines, the powerful ones. So let's do that now. Oh, it's pretty damn slow. Maybe you need to throttle up a bit. Well, at least it didn't explode yet. See, this is our it's overheating, see, so you might need to throttle it down a bit. This is our velocity, and this is our altitude. Now if you get past 70,000, I think it is, that's the end of the atmosphere, so that's when we're in space. That's where we want to go. Okay, if I now press M, this is a map view, okay? So that's where our spacecraft is at the moment. This is the apoapsis, that's the maximum point it will reach. And once we get into an orbit, it's the highest point of the orbit. So we want to get this into an orbit like this one, the NASCAR set. I didn't do that on camera, I was just messing about with that one. So we want this to get to above 70,000 meters, but actually I'll get it to 100,000 now. See, we're running out of fuel here, so when I press spacebar, these engines will detach and the new ones, slightly less powerful ones, will kick in. I was hoping to go a bit further actually. Okay, now if I press spacebar, oh no, is everything okay? Yeah, I don't know what exploded there. Okay, so now that we don't have those rudders, those winglets, if we press R, it will turn that RCS on. Now we can move using W, A, S and D. You could do that before as well, but I just didn't. Okay, I'm gonna throttle down a bit. Oh, velocity is decreasing. This will level out after a while, but I don't want it to get too low. See, now our maximum point will be 18,000. And this will increase exponentially. So it will get faster and faster. Faster and faster. So it's saying it will take 20 seconds. If we weren't using any fuel, it would take 21 seconds to get to this point. But it's increasing because we're using fuel, so it will be higher and higher. And see, these engines, they've been on for quite a long time, but that's the amount of fuel they've used. Whereas the other ones, they used fuel a lot faster. But it held together quite well. I think this will go into orbit. So I want to get this to, actually, if we start turning the aircraft, so if you put RCS on, which is the R button, which is those little things, remember, those ones, and if you press T to turn SAS off so you can move around, I'll lock it in right here, maybe a bit more. I hate controlling these things, it's so difficult. But this one isn't too hard. I think the longer you make them, the harder they are to control, or to turn around. Okay, see, we want this to go around the whole Earth, or the Kerth, whatever it's called. The planet's called Kerbin. And we want this to be at maybe 100,000. Or at least above 70,000. It doesn't matter how high it is, really. It just has to be above the atmosphere. So I'll just wait until this is maybe at 100,000. And then if you press X, it will cancel your throttle. Oh, we don't want RCS to be on. That's wasting RCS fuel. So just wait till this is at 100,000. Okay, so we press X to cancel the throttle. And now this thing up here is time warp. It allows you to fast forward time. We want to fast forward until we're close to this point. So I won't go any faster because otherwise miss it. Right, that's probably fine for the Bullsack satellite. Yeah, so if now we turn RCS on, SAS off, and we want to go horizontally because we want to make this into an orbit. We're high enough. We're really goddamn high. Okay, if we put it right there and throttle up. Oh, fuck off, sticky keys. Fuck. Piece of shit. We're going down actually. Maybe throttle up a bit more. Actually, it should be fine, shouldn't it? Yeah, we'll get into an orbit. Right. Come on. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, now we have X. So now we have this periapsis. That's our lowest point of the orbit. We want to actually keep going a bit. Get this above 70,000. We'll get it to about 100. Actually, that might be fine. I just don't want these two to crash while I'm not there. But yeah, I think that's about it actually. There's not much else to do here. If I just use this fuel up anyway. We'll get into our last stage of the rocket. Of the satellite, sorry. Come on. And spacebar. So yeah, that's our satellite. We can just throttle down now. Is this gonna spin? Huh? No! No! Fucking hell. Okay, we've actually escaped the planets. We've escaped the planet. What are we gonna do now? You know what? If we just fast forward, we can make it a solar satellite. Yeah, so there's the sun, there's Kerbal, there's a few more planets, and I think they all have a few, at least one moon, I think. There's one satellite that's sent outside the solar system. It's never coming back. Poor thing. But anyway, where are we? We can fast forward a bit more. Come on. Okay. Now, we're in orbit of the sun. Alright, let's actually try and get closer to the sun. So if we point ourselves... Hello? Why is this not working? What's going on? Oh, it's because... No, not time warping. What the hell? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Let's just... Huh? Why can't I do anything? I have some bad news, guys. I've been looking around what's wrong, why I can't control this. And basically, we've run out of power. And I can't even deploy these solar panels because I have no power. So basically, the ballsack satellite is lost in space. There's nothing we can do. Maybe we'll come back to save it one day. Probably not. But yeah, it's lost in space. That's kind of sad. It's just in solar orbit forever until it crashes into something, maybe. But I don't know, I guess it was kind of successful. We just wanted to get into Kerbal orbit. We got into solar orbit. So yeah, it wasn't a complete failure. Ballsack, I miss you. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there because I can't actually do anything now. But yeah, that's Kerbal Space Program. It's a pretty damn good game. You do spend a lot of time on it, and it does require a lot of patience, but I would recommend you try it. It is a great game, I'd say. Sorry, I'm still really sad. We have so much fuel, but I just didn't deploy these solar panels. That was stupid. Anyways, I learned for next time. But yeah, this has been Kerbal Space Program. I've been Naz, you've been great, and I'll see you next time.